news,
Lobbyists are fed up with politicians accepting their money and then not coming through.
opinion,
When the automated police force orders you inside, that's just them doing their job.
remix.
Even lost my job partially due to the whole global warming issue. Increase in oil prices. This guy's scared.
This is Top Story with Klaas and Jill Skeem,
I've been a listener for about 20 years.
I'm talking to you makes me feel better.
where the news meets your opinion. Pick up the phone and talk about it. 736-0300. That's 736-0300. Now, here's the hosts of Top Story, Klaas and Jill Skeem.
Well, good morning and welcome to Top Story. 736-0300 is always the number to call. And good morning, Jill.
Good morning, Kelly.
We are trying something again new today. We're still experimenting with videotaping Top Story so that will replace the podcast.
I'm not happy about this.
Now you're
This
gonna
is why we do radio.
Now you're gonna have to start doing your
This is
hair.
why we do radio.
Well,
I mean, some days in this wind, my hair just doesn't look good. Some days, I want to go to the gym. I put on my gym clothes. Like now I have to worry about what I look like.
Well, it's pretty difficult to see you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and me too, which is good because I have a face made for radio.
I can see me, and
I
that's
know.
going to be pretty big
It's just-
on the screen. Don't even lie to me, Klaas.
I don't know what to say, Jill.
I don't know.
Anyway, we're
I
gonna try
didn't agree to this. I agreed to radio.
We're gonna try it, see what happens. We have coming up, finding out about a butterfly release benefit that's coming up here. Tom Mikesell will be in to tell us about that.
Hospice Visions?
Yes.
Gosh, I hope that's the right one.
I
Yeah.
do too.
They did it, I think, last year. The
Yeah.
butterfly.
Yeah.
Felt bad for little butterflies. They're transported from who knows where, and they wake
I
up in
know, the poor
southern
little-
Idaho,
Then
and they're
they-
like, what?
Then
Where
they're
am
just
I?
tossed to the four winds.
I know.
It's a good thing the wind never blows around here, you
They're
know?
like, what's that big canyon? Holy moly, mama.
So we'll find out what that's all about.
Yeah.
At 8:20, actually.
Yep.
Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans will be in at 8:30. We're going to talk about how things are going there.
As the world turns in the Republican Party.
Wow, I'll
It's
tell you
one
what.
soap opera after the next. Let's watch their voters just drop off the wheel.
And then Big Ed Beckley says
Ed Beckley.
he's going to have to postpone his jump to sometime in October.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be talking to him at 9 o'clock to find out what's going on. We haven't talked to Big Ed for a while.
No, we haven't.
So,
Although he did tell me he made a jump over the weekend.
oh, did he?
Although he wasn't supposed to, I don't think.
What, he
But
wasn't supposed to tell you or he wasn't supposed to jump?
I don't think. I think last time we had him on, he said he wasn't allowed to jump because he had that accident last time
Oh.
he was recovering
Well,
from.
Hey, man, you got to pay the bills.
Hey, you do. So we'll find out all about that. Get
Yeah.
your questions ready.
No kidding. Many may have been wondering, you might have been wondering,
I was wondering.
about my hose caper.
Yes.
You know, I went to D&B and I got a garden hose, and when I got home, I noticed that it had the same connector on both ends. It was a female fastener on both ends. I thought, oh,
You're the woman.
this can't be right. So
instead of doing the logical thing and just take it back to D&B right away, you went through some crazy process.
well, and I still have to email them. I emailed the company, and I said, look, here's what I did. I went to town, spent good money, took the time to buy this hose, get it home. A month later, I'm ready to use it. I open it up, and I can't use it because it has the same connector on both ends. And they write back and say, well, okay, we need your receipt. We need the label. Take a picture, blah, blah, blah. Jump through this hoop, jump through that hoop. And if we decide that you're not lying to us, we might make good on it.
Well, think how many
So-
times they get, people that aren't honest.
So anyway, I was talking about it and got a call. We got a
Again,
call from Sam at
You were
D&B.
kvetching about it, as they say. And yet you were kvetching. And
I
Sam
was.
had enough of your kvetching.
Yeah,
And
he
thank
did.
you, Sam. Finally called in and said, Kelly, I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah, Sam works at D&B. He said,
Thank
hey,
you,
bring
Sam.
the hose in and I'll make it good. I'll switch you out. So I went in Saturday morning
Okay.
and took the bad hose and we met and he said, hey, okay. So we went over and got the right hose.
He said,
We
I'm
checked
tired
it.
of hearing
Yeah.
about it.
He didn't say that.
No,
But
really?
he might have been.
I
just the
think
same.
that's probably why he called
But at
in.
any rate, he got the right hose. He took me to the checkout counter. We did a return type thing, and out the door I went with the new hose. So
And
everything is fine.
And I asked Sam, has this ever happened before? And he was not familiar, or at least he hadn't run across it. I mean, people make mistakes. Time you get from one end of 50 feet to another end.
Oh, that's
what
pretty
one
tough.
did I just put on there?
Well, rather than going back and checking, I'll just put this one on,
What the heck?
We'll just take a 50-50
My feet hurt today.
chance.
I'm tired. It was 5 o'clock on a Friday.
He did say it was all automated, but still, there had to be a human intervention somewhere. Somebody has to take the box of connectors and pour them into
load them in.
load them into the machine or something. But at any rate, that was in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. A made-in-USA hose that...
Well, and you should still support it. People make mistakes. And so, finally, the saga is over, and I just have one question for you, Mr. Klaas. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Thank you. Can we mark this day down? June 24th. Finally, Klaas is happy.
Well, I'm happy about that. There's still plenty of things I'm not happy about.
Yes, we'll stick with the curmudgeon unhappiness story from yesterday. But he's really good at his job.
So anyway, that's the final chapter of the bad hose purchase.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Thank you, D&B.
He's a nice guy.
Good. Does he listen every day?
Yeah, they listen all the time. So
hopefully
he's listening this morning.
Was he surprised when he heard it on the radio?
I don't know that he was surprised. I don't know.
Because you kind of have that panic, like, oh my gosh, they're talking about our product, about our store.
I don't know.
Anyway, well,
but it's fixed now, so that's the final word.
I'm so happy.
We do have some other news. Apparently, if someone calls you saying they are from Cable One, wanting your credit or debit card number, don't give it to them. Apparently, there's a scam going around. The caller will claim to be trying to collect a payment.
I think that might be tough right now, seeing how Cable One's still having that blue screen on some TVs. Try to collect a payment when you still have a blue screen on your TV.
I don't know.
Do they realize what's happening with Cable One right now?
They got us fixed up. Was it Tim?
Tim. Hi, Tim from
Cable One came out and fixed us up. So we're back in operation and have been.
What are the scammers out of touch with what's happening?
Who knows? Scammers are probably out of touch anyway. But if anybody calls you and says, "Hey, we're collecting a payment. We need your debit or your credit card number," do not give it to them, because they are not from Cable One. Because Cable One says they do not make cold calls to customers, not even to collect a payment.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
And, that should go with anything. That should be a great excuse if someone ever calls and wants you to make a payment over the phone that you hadn't expected, that you don't know who it is. You can say, you know what, I'm not going to give you anything, and just hang up on them.
And yet people still do.
I know,
sad.
They do.
And that's why we're telling them.
7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. Kelly. You caused yourself so much problems.
I know.
And you had so much drama.
Yes.
Most of the stores around here, if you have a problem, if you go right back to them, they'll usually gladly take care of their customers.
That's wasn't the point. I was upset because...
No, the point is you caused your own problem.
No.
You caused your own... You blew it way out of proportion.
No.
If you'd have taken the hose back to the store right away.
No.
That's what
I'm
women
sure they would have
done.
fixed it for you.
The point
and no problems.
The point is that this outfit in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, made this defective hose, and they needed to be made aware of it.
Oh, you know what? One hose for a big company back east. You think they really care?
Now, don't you think a woman would just have taken it back and said there was a mistake?
Yeah.
I told Kelly that, but no, he had to call Pawtucket.
I even took a picture of it.
On the way, we would have stopped and asked for directions.
Yeah, exactly.
I even took a picture of it and put it on Facebook.
And we would have had the receipts still.
And I mentioned the company.
Yeah.
All right?
And you know what? I bet the company doesn't even know about it.
Well, I got an email. I sent them an email or a thing on their page, and they wrote back. They sent me an email.
You think they care?
Probably not, but at least it made me feel better,
You in.
I know.
Women are drama, but
exactly.
Well, anyway.
I saw when I was taking my anatomy class, they showed us a picture from the inside of how sperms go flying around trying to find this ovum, and a lot of them would get lost and die.
Oh.
And I piped up and I said, "See, a man, he won't ask for directions no matter what."
That's true. That's true.
So,
well, thank you, caller.
Well, anyway, I thought I don't know. I just felt like I had to do that at the moment.
Just compelled.
There are times when you just feel like you have to make someone aware of their mistake.
But you know what? You go back to
my wife does it to me all the time.
But
so
you
it's
take
about
it
time
back
I
to
got
D&B. They send it back to the company and said this was a mistake. And they get, it goes that way. So anyway.
I hope so. 7360300. Top story. You're on the air.
Kelly, once again, you are so right on.
What?
These lame women don't know what they're talking about.
What? He didn't create drama out of this two-headed hose?
Oh, wow. I don't know. It hit me wrong. I opened it up. It was hot. I needed to get water on the lawn, and here I couldn't even use
You run back to D&B real
hose.
fast. Oh, my
Well, D&B this was getting on in the evening. I already had my at-home clothes on, and I didn't want to
they're not open 7 days a week.
Town. It's all taken care of now, so leave me alone.
Thank you, Sam.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, if you are thinking about selling your home, I know there are a lot of real estate companies around. You can look in the yellow pages. Shoot, you can drive down the street. You can see all kinds of real estate signs up. One of the ones you need to pay attention to is the one from Core Group Realty. They not only have a lot of homes for sale, they have a database in their marketing plan, a database of buyers, and they have marked in that database what the buyers are looking for in a home, how many bedrooms, how many square feet, how much they can pay, etc., etc. And so when a home comes on the market and someone lists a home with them, they can put this information into that computer and they can press a button and bingo, they have a whole page or 2 or 3 or 5 of prospective buyers for this home. And this can be done literally within minutes. So if you are serious about selling your home and you don't want to fiddle around with it, you got to get it sold, you got to get moved, you're moving up to another home or you're moving out of the area, you need to get a hold of the folks at Core Group Realty because they've got the buyers waiting with money in hand to buy your home. You can give them a call at 933-2673. You can also catch them online at getmorewithcore.com. Talk to Gabe or Gerald or any of the fine people there at Core Group Realty. They will help you out if you're wanting to sell your home. Give them 24 hours. Give them 48-hour listing and see what they can do with your home. Tell them that Kelly and Jill sent you. We're going to find out next about a butterfly release benefit. That's almost a mouthful. Tom Mikesell will be in with us here shortly. 7360300 is always the number to call here on Top Story. Coming up, we'll have Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans. We'll find out how the Idaho GOP is doing after their recent convention in Moscow.
As the world turns, the next installment.
Like sand through the hourglass.
Exactly.
These are the days of our lives.
The GOP is going
so
crazy.
many men will say, how do you even know that? Do you watch soap operas?
I'm a little concerned myself.
But you're like, no, but my wife did. There you go.
My wife does, actually. Days of Our Lives is one of her favorites. Once in a while I get caught when I go home. She's watching Days of Our Lives, and I hear that stuff. I don't watch it. I just hear it.
I think you've watched it. What do you think, Tom?
I don't doubt it for a minute.
I know.
We have Tom Mikesell with us and from Hospice Visions. And what are you doing? Releasing some butterflies?
We're releasing butterflies Friday evening at Canyon Crest as a memorial to your loved ones. It's a great opportunity to mourn or rejoice in the loss of a loved one. A butterfly symbolizes so many different things in so many cultures, and one of them is rebirth. And if you think about the life of a butterfly,
I
to
don't
the cocoon.
often, but when I see them, yes.
Well, if you had milkweed out at your place, you'd find out how nice it is to cut a cocoon off, take it to your home, and let it morph into a butterfly and fly around in your house. We did that for our kids all the time.
How long does that take between the
Well,
cocoon
it depends
and the
on
morphing?
the warmth and when you get them. I think it's about 10 days. I'm not sure, but it was always fun to have a butterfly flying through the house and then open the door and let them go.
Nice.
It is nice.
That's good. So how does this work? Is this the second annual?
This is the second annual butterfly
How does
release.
it work? Do you have to order a butterfly ahead of time, or
butterflies coming in on Thursday, which I'm going to have to babysit until
Where are they
Friday.
coming from?
They're coming from Southern California.
See, and then they're going to wake
I
up
bet
in
their
Idaho.
little wings are going to be tired by the time they get here.
Well, we put them in a nice jet and fly them here, and they are kept at a temperature about 40 degrees. They've already come out of the cocoon, and as soon as they're out of the cocoon, they put them into a cold room, and they sort of go into hibernation. We have a short ceremony and a blessing before we release the butterflies. We take them outside in little envelopes, and it takes about 15 minutes for them to warm up in the weather.
For them to wake up and go, I'm in
Idaho?
Idaho?
Well, where else would you rather wake up?
I kind of know that
and,
shock.
right,
I'm like, I'm where?
Well, a whole lot better than waking up in Southern California.
That's right.
Where they came
think
from.
of the option. You could wake up in L.A. or you could wake up on the canyon right outside of Canyon Crest.
Yeah.
If you're going to wake up from a long nap, that's a much better view
Like,
than
where the heck am I?
downtown L.A.
Great view.
So we're out there. We're going to release the butterflies. It's really a spiritual moment when the people around open up their hands and butterflies rise to the air.
Now, how much is it to do this?
We're asking for $20 donation to reserve a butterfly. We have purchased 250, and if nobody purchases them, we're still going to release them. We have.
Have you sold a lot?
I think we're in the 100,
or donated a lot? Yeah.
We can't sell them. We're
I know exactly. Yeah.
We have about 110 sold right now. You can still buy them online at our website.
Reserve one.
Reserve
yes,
one, yes.
Yeah.
You can buy them at hospicevisions.org. There's a sign-up sheet on there where you can put your credit card, debit card. And then we were opening at Canyon Crest at 4 o'clock. Last year, we sold quite a few before the event, and it sort of prolonged the event and got very, very warm out on the canyon rim. So we're opening a little early so people can come by at 4 and buy their butterfly, and the program starts at 5:30. We have 2 of our spiritual counselors from Hospice Visions making short statements, and then Brother Selby from the Ascension Priory will come and bless the butterflies. Since all the benefits and proceeds go to our hospice home, which is just on the north side of the Ascension Priory, the Ascension Priory was very kind to us in leasing us that ground so that we could put the only freestanding hospice home in southern Idaho. We have 2 beds out there, and if you don't have the ability to take care of your loved ones, or the time, and it's a challenge to be in hospice and be home all day long.
Right.
Yeah.
That we have hospice home that you can move into and die in peace and grace, and it's a great facility, and I'm out there a couple of times a month, and it's wonderful.
It's kind of odd for people to say wonderful, when you're helping someone die, but it is actually I think more humane. Let them be.
Well, there's a lot of things that happen in death, and forgiveness and reconciliation with family and friends is very important.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity to make those connections and reconnect with your people. I've been through lots of different kinds of death with family members, and in the hospital with tubes in your throat,
right.
and your arms is not a pleasant way to watch a loved one die.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not getting out of here alive.
We're not.
That's right.
We all have a death sentence.
And this is an opportunity to reconnect with your family and enjoy the last few months of your life and live in a comfort and care environment that is conducive to your
So
family.
when is this again? What time?
Friday, 4 o'clock, Canyon
Right.
Crest.
All right.
And
Bring a $20 bill.
Who could they call if they want more information?
Can-
This is like memory of a loved one?
Memory of a loved one, memory of and it doesn't have to. They don't have to be passed either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
We're about out of
you
time,
think
so
of
what's the
Rayburn, I'm
number?
going to go. You can
Okay.
call us at the office, and of course I can't remember the office phone number, but here it is: 735-0121.
735-0121.
Or you can get online, or you can call me on my cell phone, and I don't know why I'm going to give this out over the air,
I'm
but here
taking
we
this
go.
one down.
Better hurry.
734-7789.
Thanks, Tom.
All right.
7360300 is always the number to call. We have Steve Millington up and coming with the Twin Falls Republicans, but I wanted to tell you first, if you farm and you haven't asked Far More of Idaho about CertaSet yet, you need to do that, because with a CertaSet system, you can grow and harvest every square inch of your field. You don't have to spray around the borders and keep the pipe clear. You don't have costly labor to move the pipe, and it takes time to do that too. And when your crop is ready to go, sometimes you just need to get in there and get it rather than worrying about getting the pipe out of there first. No more puddling, no more ponding, no more leaking. The North American Specialty Products patented CertaSet sled coupling.
Easy
You'll never
for you to
lose
say.
another drop of water. I tell you what, and I know that, I'm reading some stuff here, but if you really want to find out about this, what it actually does is allows you to set this pipe out in your field, and it has a special attachment to your swather, for instance. It'll pick up the pipe, it'll bring it over the swather, lay it down behind. You don't even have to move it before you go in and swath your hay. So to find out more about this, I would suggest getting a hold of the folks at Far More of Idaho at 324-3341 or at farmoreofidaho.com, and they can set you straight.
The Democrats' secular progressive move, political correctness is killing us too. They want to take the money from the hard-working man and give it to the lazy folks that don't give a damn. Democrats and liberals, shame on you. Don't punish us all, just to please a few. You're holding people back while we're picking up the slack, and that's why we can't vote for a Democrat. Oh no, oh no, 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 no.
And with that, we have Steve Millington with us from the Twin Falls Republicans. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we go again.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Chapter 3.
Do you feel like you're in the middle of a nightmare and you think, okay, I got to wake up soon?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily a nightmare, but it sure is a great sitcom, if you will.
I don't think it's a sitcom. I think it's a tragedy. What's happening with your party?
That's a very interesting question. I took a little road trip the last 4 or 5 days, and I've been out of the area, and when I got home late last evening, I turned on the computer and opened up my emails. I had over 75 emails. And with the exception of maybe a dozen, all of them were related to the Republican convention. And I looked at 2 or 3 and I thought, nah, I don't have time for this tonight. I've got other things that I want to be involved in. So when I get done here today, I can go home and catch up on my reading.
So what was the concern? What are they saying? What are your emails?
One of the interesting things about this whole thing is that the, let's just call it the far right-wing segment of the Republican Party are battling for their control. Yeah. And the mainline Republicans have watched this process the last 2 years specifically, and probably 4 years prior to that, and said to themselves, wait a minute, this is not really who we are. And so the establishment Republicans are attempting to regain control and bring some common sense back into the Republican politics, and the right wing side of the table is fighting desperately to hold on to their power. Mm-hmm. And so what we have is the last great challenge.
Would you kind of consider this, comparatively speaking, I guess, as an attempted hostile takeover?
Yeah, I think the right wing faction is trying to maintain their position and take over the Republican Party politics, and that's an interesting thing. There's 2 or 3 editorials. The Times News had an interesting editorial about a week ago, I think it was. Seems like it was last Thursday or Wednesday or something, and they were less than complimentary.
You think?
I do think. Actually, they were they beat up on us pretty good, mm-hmm. and several other editorials and articles that I have written all go to the point or speak to the issue of what is it you're trying to do here? What's wrong with you? How come you can't get your ducks in a row?
And it also seemed like, how out of touch you are. with some of the things in the platform, some of the things that we're trying to
I
pass.
I would take exception with the term how out of touch we are. I think what you have there is the far right. Well, the far right hand side, the right wing element, have an agenda, and obviously they're going to push that agenda as hard as they can, as long as they can. And then you have the mainline Republicans who look at these things and say, wait a minute, our responsibility here, because we are the dominant party in the state, our responsibility is to govern responsibly. And that does not mean that we should be overbearing. It doesn't mean that we should step on too many people's toes. You're always going to step on a few of them. So let's get over that part. But let's not trample underfoot the things that people have and want to hear and see get done. But at the same time, we need to be a little bit more pragmatic, maybe, about the approach. We do not live in a totally, purely ideological world.
We'll be right back with Steve Millington. 7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. We'll get back to Steve Millington with the Twin Falls Republicans, but first, if you want to rent a mailbox,
that's right.
I know who to talk to find out how to do that.
That's right. Go to the UPS store. Say you're a Republican and you're moving out of state to another state who can control the Republican Party. You might need a mailbox. You might need your mail to go into a mailbox. Go to the UPS store. Tell Charles and the crew that you want that Joe or Kelly sent you, and you'll receive 1, 2, or 3 additional months free, depending on the length of the lease that you need. If you're a home business, you don't have a retail location, or like I said, you're moving, or mail security, this is a great way to have your mail taken care of, even though you can't get to it every day. There's no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail. You can pack, you can ship, you can buy a cute little animal card. Go to the UPS store on the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison. Tell Charles and the crew we sent you.
Okay, so who...
You know, Kelly, I don't really think that's fair.
What?
For Jill to beat
song.
Up on... I cannot respond when she is doing an advertisement
just a good
for one of
example.
our good sponsors.
Why
I
you
can't
would need a
respond to her...
mailbox.
Sure you can. Go ahead. Now's your chance.
But I have a question because...
It's not fair, Jill.
Too bad. Life's not fair. But anyway,
yeah, that's the typical
isn't that what
Democrat
you guys always
response.
say? But I was going to say it was reported somehow, and I think it was in the Statesman article, that they said there was agreement when the convention adjourned that the current officers would continue to be the officers. Now, you were at the convention. What is the truth on this?
No agreement.
And that's the part of the problem, correct?
And that you take the ultra right wing side, they want to retain their power position, and so they're going to twist everything that they possibly can to their particular point of view. Now we have had opinions issued by Jason Risch, who is the general counsel for the state GOP, and by the National Republican Committee, and their opinions are that the term of office for the chairman, for the elected officials of the executive committee, the chairman, first and second vice chair, secretary, and treasurer, ends at the following convention. So you're elected in a convention in 2012, and your term of office expires at the end of the convention in 2014. Now, in this case, we did not re-elect new officers in the 2014 convention, but the opinion from the National Republican Committee and the legal counsel for the Idaho State GOP is that the term of office ends at the end of the convention. And having said that, that would say that the officers, the elected officers, are no longer in place. Now, there was one other, a third, well, this is a second opinion, and then there's a third opinion. The second opinion was that the term of office is for, quote, 2 years, unquote. And the 2012 convention was held on June 23rd, and so the term of office ends on June 23rd.
Yesterday.
That would have been yesterday. Now, that one was kind of not quite as substantiated or valid, because the election process is from convention to convention. And then there is the opinion issued by Chris Troupas, who has been retained by Barry Peterson and the right-wing people, and that is that if no election was held, you are automatically in place until the next general convention, which would be in 16. And that one, it just doesn't hold water. It's their opinion, and okay, fine. That's how come we have horse races, to see which one's better. But the convention did nothing as far as electing officers of any kind. They didn't pass any resolutions. They didn't approve any rules. They didn't make any changes to platform, and they did not elect any officers. The thing just digressed to the point where the infighting was over the edge, and there was two men who almost simultaneously moved for adjournment. I jumped up and seconded the move along with several others, and a move for adjournment is a non-debatable motion.
So there was no discussion going forward.
No
but
discussion.
My question is there anything in the bylaws, like say a convention was interrupted for a national disaster or crisis?
You could reconvene.
So you could reconvene.
Wait, that's wrong. I misspoke. That was incorrect. I've only made one mistake in the last 1,000 years, and I think that was it.
That's your second mistake.
What happens at that point is that there is an organization called the Idaho State Central Committee.
Right.
And the Central Committee is comprised of 4 members from each county, plus 1 person from each of the 35 legislative districts and the regional chairmen. So we have 7 regions in Idaho, 35 legislative districts, and 44 counties. So you have 4 people from each county. That's 156, if my math is right. Is that right?
That's close enough.
Close enough. Then we have 35 legislative districts. That gets us to about 191. And then we have 7 regions. That gets us to 198. Just call it 200 for rounding purposes. We should be actual. It's more like 198. That group of people has been, not in order for the Central Committee to call a special assembly, there needs be one of 2 methods. You must have a total of 15 people representing 5 different counties, and they can file a formal request based on section and code and so forth of the Idaho State GOP bylaws. And that is online. Sorry, I didn't print that off this morning.
So are they going to be meeting in August, though?
And then there's a second way where you could have a total of 15 other people from various regions petition for a meeting of the Central Committee meeting. Now, in conjunction with those 2 filings, there, in accordance with the rules of the Idaho Republican Party, notice is hereby given that the Idaho Republican State Central Committee will meet on Saturday, August the 2nd, 2014, at the Red Lion Hotel on West Fairview Avenue in Boise, Idaho, at 9 a.m. The business to be conducted at this meeting will be the election of a chairman, a first vice chair, a second vice chair, a treasurer, and a secretary.
Okay, so is Barry Peterson and his group going to go along with that?
Are they going to agree with this?
Or do they have a choice?
They don't have a choice at this point. The State Central Committee has the power to call a special assembly if petitioned by these 2 different approaches, both of which have been activated. And so the State Central Committee will meet on August the 2nd in Boise to elect the new officers.
Are you going to be part of that or no?
Probably. The 4 yes, I will be.
Okay.
The 4 delegates from each county include the county chairman.
So that would be,
which is me.
Yeah.
I'm Twin Falls County chairman. The state committee man, state committee woman, and state youth person. So you have those 4 people from each of the 44 counties. And then we have one.
So do you think this is going to be a free-for-all, or do you think people are going to be able to agree, or is anyone going to be invalidated? Because
and who runs the meeting?
Yeah.
The meeting will be run by the current first vice chairman and the national committee man and national committee woman.
So that will be...
The first vice chairman is Mike Matthews.
Oh, okay.
And the National Committee woman is Cindy Sidaway, and the National Committee man is Oh, come on, Damon Watkins. Sorry, I almost.
So they're from out of state, the
Nope,
national?
nope. Those two guys are those are Idaho residents who are members of the national, the Republican National Committee. Every state has 2 members in that group.
Were
Plus,
they at the convention?
Cindy Sidaway was, but Damon Watkins was out of town, out of state.
No, Mike Matthews is from Twin Falls.
Mike Matthews is from Twin Falls, and he is the first vice chair. So that meeting will be held in Boise on. Now, what we're going to see between now and August 2nd is posturing and positioning.
I was going to say, it'll almost be like a campaign.
Wow.
Why is it so late? Why not sooner?
Well,
or do you have to?
I
thought it had to be within 30 days or something.
I did too. I can't answer as to why it is pushed off until August 2nd. There may be some other bylaw rules and committees of which I am not aware. But August 2nd is the great and dreadful day.
So do you think there'll be
Idaho.
a resolution, or do you think anything like what happened at the convention could happen at the Central Committee?
The only thing that's going to happen at this special Central Committee meeting is election of the 5 officers. Now, one of the real contentious things at the Republican convention was the seating of delegates.
Right.
That, you cheated, you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, these people didn't get a proper voice, et cetera. It's on and on and on and on and on and on. It just make you want to just go crazy. But in this particular meeting, it's very straightforward. Every time that Twin Falls County, for example, reorganized at the end of May, the bylaws indicate that you have 10 days after the primary election in which to reorganize your county committee. So the election was on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday night, Twin Falls County met and reorganized their central committee. At that same meeting, we elected all of our delegates to the state convention. Now, when we get done with that reorganization meeting, all of the people, the chairman, the vice chairman, the secretary, the treasurer, there's 5 directors and some ad hoc members, including state committee man, state committee woman, state committee youth, are all submitted to the state office. So the state office has a list of those 4 people, chairman, committee man, committee woman, committee youth. That information is already on file, and those are the people who will be permitted to vote at the Central Committee meeting on August 2nd. So that list is already predetermined. There is no credentials qualification that has to be.
Essentially, it could be a short meeting.
It could be over in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's going to be longer than that because you're going to have to do a roll call of attendance.
But
so
I mean, there's really no room for any arguing or posturing. It's just kind of a cut and dried deal.
They will go down through and get a roll call to see that we have a quorum. And at the same time, the roll call will substantiate those who are present to vote.
Well, that could take an hour and a half because we heard that's how long it took at the convention.
Well, but you had
the roll call.
You had 644 delegates, and you go down through them one at a time. Somebody finally said, "This is stupid. Have the county delegate."
Well, that's what Grant said they normally do, was by county.
By
but
county.
They went through individual.
And I wonder if the
strategy.
it was a strategical thing to just
take up time.
Force the whole convention into chaos.
They didn't want anything to happen.
Well, it forced it into chaos.
So is anyone else going to get any of the keys that Barry changed to the locks to the offices? What's happening there?
I don't have any idea.
It's like craziness.
It is craziness, and there's been all kinds of.
I don't think he's going
he
easily.
Said, she said, blah blah blah. Yeah. It was known 2 years ago that Trevor Thorpe, who has been dismissed. Actually, he wasn't either. He resigned to go pursue other.
Yeah, his master's degree.
His master's. Like 2 years ago, he had an opportunity to pursue a master's degree, but decided instead to stay and work with the state central committee for a period of time. Well, Trevor just decided it's time for me to go get my master's degree, and this is a great opportunity to make my exit. So he did.
And maybe he didn't want to live through this kind of stuff maybe that was going on.
There's a couple of things that
You're out of time, pal.
We got 2 minutes.
No, but
we
you
got 30 seconds.
Maybe 30 seconds.
This is an article in a thing called the Weekly Standard, and they're talking about the debacle associated with Eric Cantor. And they go through a long list of stuff, but the bottom and the last paragraph is this. We're talking about the Republicans wising up and getting to the point. And the last paragraph says, until the Republicans reach that day, angry Republican voters will continue to use primary elections to knock off unsuspecting incumbents, semicolon, and the disaffected independents, parentheses, these are the voters who often decide the general elections, in parentheses, will keep favoring Democrats. The Republicans had better get their head out of the sand and remember that we have a very difficult, demanding general election, the 1st of November, and the Democrats are just having a heyday on our foolishness.
Yep.
I have to say I'm one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
You bet.
All right, this is Top Story. We have Big Ed Beckley this next hour to explain to us what's going on. And welcome back to the third half of Top Story.
Of the fourth hour of the second day of the third week.
Something like that.
I don't know.
736-0300 is always the number to call. We have to be careful now because we are on video.
I know.
Yeah,
much to my chagrin.
This is our debut video of Top Story.
You know, there was something about the beauty of radio.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, now we're going to have to start combing our hair.
I know it.
But anyway, yeah, this is now being videotaped and will be uploaded to our website for the podcast. So instead of just being able to hear us, now you will be able to see us also, and the guest.
Maybe that will help me because a lot of people just vision me with like a dragon head on my head.
Yeah,
so.
Well, as I look at the, by golly, there's a dragon
there it
head
is.
right
like,
there.
Careful.
Yeah, looks
Duck.
like it's right on
I'm
your
breathing.
shoulders. So, at any rate, hey, we've heard some news now that Big Ed Beckley's jump has been postponed to October. So we thought, you know what, we better get him on the line and find out what's going on. Good morning, Big Ed.
Morning,
Hey,
Ed.
buddy. And hey, girlie.
How
And you know
are
what? Thank God y'all don't have video on me right now. I've been up way too early and haven't combed my hair for 3 hours, I think.
I know. This is kind of a shock for us here, but
Yeah, well, people that are listening right now are going to be they're going to be shocked how pretty you are, little girl.
Oh, aren't you so sweet, Ed? I'll pay you later.
And I'm sure they'll be shocked at how I look, too.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You notice I didn't say anything about that, did you?
Oh, I noticed that.
But, you know, here's the whole deal. We found out about, a week ago that, you know, there's been a huge shakeup at Fox, just to put it plainly. They're great people, but the head of Fox walked at the end of May, 1st of June.
Mm-hmm.
And so that didn't really do anything to us other than it put some other people in the head of our project or whatever and became around. So, you know, which is cool with us because we've been out there and met with them and all this. But one thing that they did want to do is, of course, it's all about ratings. Ratings is basically how many people are watching, you know, and see it and all the above and how many eyeballs are on you. And that's what, of course, makes the television companies money. That's how they get paid. So with the commercials. So with the better the ratings, the more they can charge. So what they're wanting to do is put this, sandwich it in between some football games is what we're hearing. So, which, you know, when you get NFL involved and, you know, it's Fox and all the above, that's going to be good for all of us. So
yeah, because I think, were you going to be on Labor Day or no? The week
no,
after?
that was, that's whenever Eddie Braun was going to do it was on the 1st, and I wanted to do it on the 7th.
Okay.
And, which this is going to do a couple different things. One, it's going to give law enforcement and people like that more time and more people involved because this was the 7th and the 1st both were right on top of county fairs and the Bridge Festival and all that. So that this will give them better time. When I called the two sheriffs when I found out, Mr. Carter and Mr. McFall, and called them right away and just said, hey, here's what I'm hearing. I want you to know what I'm hearing so that if something happens, you guys can be thinking about not having all your officers all getting set up to make sure they're here and all that. So I said, I don't know what's going on with the first deal. That's not mine, but I know what I'm talking to with Fox is that, we're going to do this thing on the 7th. Not do it on the 7th, but maybe do it later in the month or maybe even into October. But I wanted them to know. So that's what I did.
Yet?
The first person I called was Sheriff Carter. He and I in the Twin Falls County courthouse are great friends. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Hey, Ed, do they have a date yet in October?
No.
So they're just working
I would
on it
tell
right
you.
now.
Yeah, no, I would tell you if they did. Nothing, they're just thinking about, moving this thing to I know it's going to be moved. We just don't know when. They're not going to do it on the 7th. I know that.
Are you still going to do your monster truck rally in October?
No, in fact, when I found out that, because all this was going to be something for them to do, while they were here. Well, now that nobody will be here on the 7th, and you've already got monster trucks over in Twin Falls, if they're fair earlier and a couple weeks in front of us, that'd be stupid for me to try to do a standalone date. So.
No, are you going to do it in conjunction with the October date?
Well, I think it's going to be too cold. I sent a letter to the Fair Board yesterday asking them what they thought, and stuff from Jerome County. But, we all got to think about it. At showtime on Friday and Saturday nights at Monster Truck Show, we're talking about it could be 35 degrees in October.
October is always roll the dice type of month around here. I mean, we've gotten snow in the early part of October before. So.
Well, exactly.
So how would that affect the jump?
Well, and that was the thing that we talked about. They wanted to know, first thing they asked was, safety. What are you feeling? I said, well, it's all good with us because, we're using the catapult system anyway. So we're okay because we're going off that takeoff ramp straight and true no matter what. So it's not like we're going to be slipping and sliding. And what we're going to do, we'll probably take different angles to match the dangle, so to speak. We'll probably heat the rail, things like that, so we don't have ice. And we'll take precautions. Whole thing is we just got to make sure that all this is done and ready. And I did not want people taking vacations and booking motels and stuff like that. So I probably stepped outside of my bounds, but and did this and told people about this. But I got to tell you something. It's just I'm not going to let the people from Twin Falls and Jerome County, stuff like that, all prepare and all this for something that's not going to happen. On that date. Yeah. That's not the way I'm made. So.
Well, I know some people now are even saying, off to October, huh? Gee, I wonder what's going on.
Let me tell you something. You talking about Sean Behringer?
No, I'm not talking about anybody specifically.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you was talking about him because, I'm just going to, what could you say? People could say anything and everything. They've been saying that we weren't going to get that we wouldn't pay our money at the state. What happened? They said that we wouldn't, after the city commission jacked us, you got to think about that. What happened there? Every hurdle that has been put forth, we've jumped it, no matter what. So the next thing is jumping this canyon.
Ed, does it affect the state lease at all? The delay in the
No, we've got 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've paid 2 years. So that's not a problem. And our landowner Rick Giesler on this side, he says, "Hey, I'm all for it." Our deal with him is clear till October the 31st, with an option to renew of whatever. So we've got our bases covered here. And it just makes us be how lucky we were. It kind of tells you there's some divine intervention here. Whatever our lease is at Giesler's clear up to October 31st. I never thought that. I didn't even know anything about it until my attorney, John, goes, "Don't worry about it, dude. We got clear till Halloween." I go, "Okay."
Yeah.
How is the motorcycle building coming along?
You know what we've done? We got the motor done, got the hydrogen peroxide jet rocket motor done, and we're doing some testing with the suspension and stuff because what we're going to do is when the bike, I'll be able to ride that around. I'll be actually to ride it around and ride it up into the takeoff area and set it in the catapult, and then we're ready to go. And after I land, I'll be able to ride it over to the press and stuff like that. So we've had to have the suspension where the wheels wouldn't be sticking down below, say, the fuselage area, that aerostream area, to keep it out of the air. So couldn't have it down there. It's going to upset the whole apple cart and make it fly like a rock. So
when
we
you
want
say
to do that.
When you say catapult, what are you talking about?
Like what's on an aircraft carrier?
Oh, okay.
Airplane sets
Sure.
in it, and that's
Pushes
how
it
they
right
get
along.
the speed up.
Oh, I
That's
see.
how they get the speed up. Airplane sets in a locked position with the tires up against this catapult deal, and it's got like a rocket, so to speak, and shoots it down the runway on the aircraft carrier, which is very short, and there's no way that the jets or any kind of airplane, especially the old prop planes, could get the speed to take off. So you turn it into the wind and do it with a catapult on an aircraft carrier. We don't ever have to worry about turning it into wind over here. We know that wind's going to be blowing out of the north in September or October, or probably today. I got a hunch it is.
So how's your health? I know you had a pretty good wreck here a while back.
Well, yeah, and March had a bad one. And, I just jumped this last Saturday in Abilene, Texas, cleared 10 cars, over there, 10 trucks actually, but all good. I'm way stronger than I actually was before this whole accident. Lost a bunch of weight. You guys have never seen me this little. I haven't been this weight since I was a senior in high school. So I'm just a little over. Yeah, I'm right at 270, and I haven't been this weight for forever. So yeah, it's a way different deal. So
that's
got a
good.
50-inch chest, 40-inch waist, and then 19-inch biceps right now. Working on 21s before the month's out. I had 26s a long time ago, but now. So things are working really good. I mean, cardio's all good. Blood pressure's good. That we actually think that we could probably go to NASA and pass one of their physical tests right now.
So, Ed, maybe it was a blessing. There's always a front and a back to everything.
Well,
so,
that's exactly right. And so my faith has taught me that for sure. And this wreck has for sure instilled all that back on me, how big and how bad, you think you are. Can be all taken away in a second, but it does take a little while to get back. Nobody in their right mind would ever thought that a 63-year-old guy could crash in March and be jumping, at this point in time.
Yeah, you're kind of I guess a de facto spokesman for us older people.
I'll go with that.
Why not?
I'll go with that. And here's the thing. I'm just like the people from right there. I mean, I could fit right in. I mean, I worked hard all my life and got a lot of scars and this and that from working. I mean, much less jumping. So hard work and having a good work ethic is what when I go to the gym.
So Ed,
same thing.
When do you think you're going to find out what day it is?
Well, that's a good question. My guess is probably I would say right now from this date, probably within the next week to 10 days. Here's what I do know. Photo shoot is going to happen like this week or next week. Fox is sending out a photographer for that, and they're spending some big bucks on that. I know that we're scheduled to go to the TCA, which is the Television Critics Association big party. Going on in Hollywood in the middle of July to do a lot of announcing and press stuff, which is going to be a cool deal. They're spending huge amounts of money on that deal, so that's what I say. So anybody's got any doubts, just go ahead and have some.
Well, don't forget the little people, the little press and twin. Don't forget.
I can't wait till you guys are on podcasts. I want to see how pretty you are today.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get it up sometime today. It's going to be an experiment, but we'll try to get to it. But hey, Ed, thank you very much for talking to us. We'll be checking in with you again, and anything new comes up, you let us know.
Well, it's so good to work with the people on both sides of this river. That's what I can tell you.
All right.
Thanks,
I love
Ed.
Idaho.
Take care.
Thanks, Ed. See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
All right, Big Ed Beckley going to jump Snake River Canyon now sometime in October. We'll keep you up to date on that. This is Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX. 7360300 is always the number to call here on Top Story. Yesterday's $100 instant winning name is Morton Cron, Krahn.
Morton Cron, congratulations.
And your $100 word of the day for today is sparkler.
Sparkler.
Gee, I wonder where that comes from.
Sparkler.
Sparkler, Sparkler.
Sparkler. Well, 4th of July is coming up.
Yes, it is. And you can go to our website, newsradio1310.com, click on Word of the Day, type in Sparkler, listen tomorrow if you hear your name. tomorrow, played the word of the day today, you get $100. If you hear your name tomorrow, didn't play the word of the day, sorry, you lose.
And you'll be upset.
No $100.
You just left $100 on the table.
You know, as far as the weather in October for a jump across the canyon, that could go either way. It could be, I know we've had snow in October, and we have also had Indian summer in October, we call it. It's a beautiful,
I think I more
stable
remember
weather.
the Indian summer. I don't remember snow in October. Was it recent?
It was a couple of years ago, yeah. We had, it was fairly early in October, too, and it was like several inches. It didn't stay long.
Was I here?
But
was I on the show at the time?
Yeah, you were here. It was, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I can't remember.
All right.
And it's not all that unusual. I can remember back when my kids were little, we were, it was October 31st, we were taking them trick-or-treating on Halloween.
Yeah.
And the snowflakes that were falling were like as big as dollar
big
bills.
as apples.
They were huge. Yeah, I remember that. So.
Okay, well, that was a while ago. How old was Tracy?
October in Idaho. She would have been, I don't know, 3 or 4. She wasn't very
Okay,
good.
so that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. So October around here can go either way. Well, any month around here literally can go either way, but, you know, especially that time of year.
Well, I think it's interesting, and you know what? They're probably going to make a really big deal of it. Obviously, it's Fox, so.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Should be fun.
Yeah, we probably won't even recognize Ed now.
Anybody,
He's probably lost so much weight.
I know. But anybody who wants to jump a canyon like this is going to get attention, you know. So.
Oh, how can you, especially on the 40th anniversary of Evel Knievel?
Yeah. Well, and you know, Scott Truax and
Eddie Braun.
Eddie Braun, looks like they will be, maybe if they're successful, of course, they will be the first ones to complete that jump.
Yeah. In the replica.
And there is something to be said about being the first.
That's true.
So.
Even if you don't make it, because look at Evel Knievel.
Right.
It didn't matter that he didn't make it. People remembered that he tried to jump it.
In fact, more people may remember him because he didn't than if he had have. So.
Yeah, you're like, oh, ho-hum, another one jumped the canyon, oh, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But he didn't do it.
So anyway, we'll keep our ear to the ground on that. Okay, we have some more news to talk about, and this one is kind of, if you have, I don't know, a squeamish stomach,
I don't know,
you may want to tune out for just a couple of minutes.
This actually might make people tune in now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, everybody turns the radio up when they hear that.
Okay, turn it up, people.
And the way this story starts off, it's not a joke. It's worded like joke, but it's not.
I know.
A man fell into a wood chipper.
Yeah, this is Fargo, the sequel.
Remember
man, that?
I do.
That's the only time I really even saw a wood chipper. And it was in the movie Fargo. And then to know that this man fell into it. Oh, awful.
A man fell into a wood chipper and was killed Monday in Davie, Florida.
Oh.
In an accident people at the scene called horrifying.
I can only imagine. Oh.
A worker landscaping all day fell into the teeth of his wood chipper. His whole body was pulled in through the wood chipper, and the aftermath took a toll on residents and law enforcement.
I can only imagine.
The man was dead when rescue workers arrived, and Davie police had to delicately clean the scene and collect the victim's remains.
Oy.
Police believe the man's death was the result of a work accident.
Really?
OSHA was also brought to the scene of the accident and promised more information later.
That's awful.
Yeah, that would be not a good way to go. 7360300, top story, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Yeah, Kelly and Jill, if you'll remember right, I think back when Saddam Hussein's two boys, those real bad ones, would stick guys they didn't like.
You know what?
I don't remember
that is the first thing I thought of when I read that story. I thought, wow, this sounds like Saddam Hussein.
I don't remember that.
So that's pretty sad, isn't
Fargo.
it? Thanks for the call. No, that's what
they used
when
to
Saddam
do?
Hussein was still in power, I guess his boys would.
Hootie and what were their names? Were Hootie or Hootie and something?
Yeah, I forget now, but you're right. That was one of them. But yeah, they would take people and dangle them from a string, and they'd either dangle them their feet first or their head first. Oh,
that's awful.
Yeah.
Okay, that right there, I'm like, they had wood chippers in Iraq, you know.
Yeah, well, for that purpose.
If you want to take the story further,
Saddam Hussein had a lot of money.
Oh, sure.
A
yeah.
lot of money. So, purchasing a few wood chippers for that purpose was not
You think
a
there'd be
big
some
deal
kind
for
of a
him.
guard on there, but I guess there can't be if you're using
Well, I'm
it.
thinking
I don't know
that,
how you
that
could do
Hootie
it.
and Woody or whoever they were probably took a wrench and took the guard
No,
off.
not them. I'm thinking about the poor man who died.
I don't know. You can only, if you're going to put limbs into it, you
I
can only
know.
have so big of a guard. So
Anyone out there using a wood chipper today, please be careful.
Yeah, no kidding. This is Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX.
So mad.
7360300 is the number to call here this morning on Top Story. Just listening to another one of Jill's drama stories. Now she's lost her keys. For crying out loud, Jill.
I had the car serviced a week or so ago. And then the next day it was dead. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So Tom charged the battery, and then he read in my car manual that because the theft light was flashing on and off, which I didn't really
Those
notice
usually
before.
do anyway.
Well, that's what I thought. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention. He thought maybe it was flashing all night. I don't know. So then it said in the manual that sometimes your automatic car opener, the thing you just click, can affect it. So he said, well, why don't we do an experiment? So instead of putting the key back on my keychain with all my other keys and stuff, he put on a separate one. And I'm like, I don't, he goes, do you think you might, I go, and I've got these two things because the one has my Fred Meyer card on it, my gym membership, a key to, I won't even
lost your life.
Anything, yeah. So yesterday I come into work and I'm in the car. I'm like, I've got to get my other keys because I'm going to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Cannot find them. I'm losing my mind. I had them Friday. I went to the farmer's market Saturday morning, but I don't think I dragged that whole thing with me. I don't know where my clump of keys are.
It's really unfair for you to call the Republican issue a soap opera. Your life is a soap opera.
Well, people lose keys, but I was like, this was the worst idea ever to separate my keys.
Oh, my. Well, I'll tell you what would be a good
idea. If
idea.
anyone finds a clump, please call me.
There you go. Call Jill. Tell her you found her clump of keys.
My clump of keys and all those little reward things.
Yes, I know. Those add up, don't they?
Well, they told me I can't get my same number from Fred Meyer. I'd have to get a new one.
Well, they still got it under your phone number. You just give them your phone number, and you can still get. I haven't had.
How do I get my 10 cent off the gas with my phone number?
There's a way to do that somehow. I don't know. You'll have to ask him.
Anyway, I'm so annoyed.
I have some good news for you.
Thank
Kelly
you.
with
Thank
Stanley
you.
and Company has the Lowen Honey Loader, and we've been talking about this quite some time. If you have a feedlot or a dairy operation or an operation with lots of animals that produce lots of honey or manure, whatever you want to call it, this Lowen Honey Loader can handle it. It'll load any type of manure from liquid to frozen and dry. And if you want to see one of these in operation, do this. Call Kelly on his personal cell phone and say, Kelly, I would like to see one of these in operation. I'm thinking of purchasing one for my feedlot or dairy, but I would like to see one in operation first. You can paraphrase me. It doesn't have to be those exact words, but, something like that. 404-2997 is the number to call. 404-2997. Talk to Kelly. He's the guy who will answer because it's his cell phone.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We have a little bit more news here to talk about. I want to ask you a question. As an American, do you have an emergency savings account?
I don't know if it's an emergency, but we have a savings account.
How
do you determine whether it's an emergency or a savings account?
If you have money that is sitting around that you could use that would get you through 6 months if you were to become unemployed.
Mm-hmm.
You have that sitting around.
Yeah.
So you are like 1 out of 4 Americans.
Yay! I don't have my keys, but I have an emergency savings account.
Can't get to the money, but you have it.
Yeah.
26% of Americans have no emergency savings, according to a report by Bankrate.com. Over the past 4 years, there has been little to no progress when it comes to Americans' savings capacity. Even those who manage to save are not putting away enough. As many as 2/3 of the people in the U.S. do not have the recommended 6 months of expenses saved.
I believe that. I mean, they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I believe it too.
It's getting worse.
The percentage of people with savings enough to cover at least 3 months shrank to 40% in 2014 compared to 45% just a year earlier. despite Americans being more secure in their jobs and more comfortable with their debt since the recession ended. Their savings capacity remains weak even among those with highest income household. Only 46% of those with annual incomes of $75,000 or above have enough savings to cover 6 months of expenses. That's kind of scary.
It would be hard, yeah, but, it's tough. And what's happening out there, and we have such a divide, and it's getting worse.
The report also indicates that the segment of the population aged between 30 to 49 are the most likely to have no emergency fund compared with younger people. That is kind of surprising. This is alarming because those are the people with a house, 2 cars, and a dog, but still with no emergency savings. You need emergency savings.
It's because they have a house, 2 cars, and a dog is why they don't have emergency savings.
Mainly the dog. So something to think about. If you don't have at least a month or 2 of savings,
you lose everything very quickly.
Oh, yeah. And so many Americans, well, obviously 3 out of 4 living paycheck to paycheck. If you stub your toe, you lose.
I know.
736-0300 is the number to call. 736-0300, the number to call. Ladies and gentlemen, more drama. It just never ends.
No, just life. Things happen.
More
Things
drama
happen
with Jill
people.
coming up.
It happens.
But if you're looking for an RV or an RV accessory for heading off this summer, or just going to the mountains every once in a while and camping, have I mentioned Bish's RV as the place around here? It's everybody's go-to place. Bish's yeah, that's right. Bish's RV around here is just kind of the go-to place for RVs. They are the largest RV outlet in the state of Idaho. They have 4 stores, one of them right here in Twin Falls at the Curry Crossing. You drive by there and you can see the vast array of choices. And if you don't find what you're looking for there, they have 3 other lots that may have it. And if you don't find it on those 3 lots, it probably doesn't exist.
Or else you're very picky.
That's right. Very large parts and service department at Bish's RV. So if you're looking for an RV, that is the place. Stop by. Tell them that we sent you. They've got the Autumn Ridge, the Dutchman, the Cougar, the Montana, the Solitude, the Voltage. You name it, all the major brands. So they would be happy to hear from you. 736-0300 is the number to call. We have a caller.
Okay.
Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Maybe they found my keys.
Yeah, did you find Jill's keys?
No, I haven't found your keys.
Please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On your radio station at 7 o'clock in the evening till 10, you have a great show, the Dave Ramsey Show.
Yeah, that's right.
And he can bring it down to basic language, how to get out of debt, and talks about wants and needs and what a materialistic consumer society we are, and getting a written budget, and it just takes a little bit of discipline. But you see these people that might be at the bottom of the economic scale there, but they have a flat screen TV, cable, or a satellite dish, or computer systems, and
absolutely,
cell phones, and a car with that they can't pay for.
I heard a saying or phrase one time, and that it just sums it up. It says, "So what if you can't afford it? It's not the American way to let that stop you."
Ho, ho, ho. Hey, so have you followed any Dave's principles?
Oh, well, I've been following some of them through my life because that's how I was raised. My parents, my mom looked at the ads in the paper and the coupons, and she had S&H green stamps.
Oh, yes.
And
not to mention gold strike stamps.
They grew up in the Depression.
Yeah.
My dad had a paper route when he was 10 years old. He sat in the corner folding his papers at a bank and read stories about the gangsters in 29 and the Depression. And so I just had that ingrained in me. Of course, I have my own issues of wants and needs through my life, but I made it. I didn't go crazy.
Yeah, that's the key right there, is not going crazy. Thanks for that call. That's very interesting. So anyway, Jill was telling me that so you have your cat now. Was it Gracie?
Yeah, Gracie is a little crazy right now. Well, she's mourning the loss of Lizzie, like we all are. But I told you that every night, I mean, she's been waking us up early. 4:15, 4:30. This past Sunday, 10 of 5. I mean, couldn't I sleep until 7 on a Sunday? I don't know what to do with her. I really don't. I know she's upset. I know she's meowing. I know she's mourning. I don't know what to do. So I told you that there's nothing else I can do, but I am calling this pet psychic.
Pet psychic.
Julie Morgan. And I think she's in Utah. And I am going to call her. My sister-in-law has used her. My mom used her once. I haven't really used her. I used another little psychic once, but she was from Georgia. So I'm going to have to find out what's wrong with Gracie.
So they really have legitimate pet psychics then?
Well, I mean, we'll see. So I'm going to let you know. I'm at the end of my...
Maybe we could even have a session on the radio.
Oh, really?
Or on video.
Poor
now
Gracie.
that we've got video in here.
Poor Gracie.
Might be interesting. Top story. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well.
How are you?
Oh, good. Hey, is Gracie very old or?
She's 13. She'll be 14 October 1st, but they were in the same litter and were together for their whole lives. And it's very sad.
My cats don't know that, they don't dig daylight savings time. They don't go, oh, we're on daylight savings time. They still get up at 4.
Yeah, but I mean, she never really did this with the meowing and waking us up, and they never really did that. And she meows all the time in different places. It's sad. She goes to the places where Lizzie used to be. Lizzie used to sometimes hang out on the guest bed and in between the flannel sheets because she liked flannel. And Gracie never did that, but now Gracie does it, and Gracie goes under the bed. So, I mean, it's like she's really sad and mourning.
Maybe it would be good to get another cat, an older cat.
Maybe.
Adopt an older cat that's real docile.
Yeah.
And that might make her feel better.
It's so sad. So anyway, that's a good suggestion. I'm going to talk to. I'll let you know what happens. I'm going to call the pet psychic and see. Have you ever tried one?
Have you ever tried one?
Oh gosh, no. I love that guy.
Caesar Milan.
Yeah, the one in California. No.
Yeah, the dog. Oh, not the dog whisperer.
Dog. No. We're not into dogs here, Kelly. It's a CAT.
Yes.
I just figured dog, cat. What's the difference?
It's still a 3-letter word, but it's not quite the same.
That's
okay,
right.
Fine.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to the pet psychic. I'll get back to you. I appreciate your suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find out about this pet psychic thing. We'll get to the bottom of this. We'll find out if they really are legitimate.
I know.
It's time now for the Huckabee Report. It's brought to you this morning by Waddell and Reed. And you can hear the Huckabee Report each weekday at this time, brought to you exclusively by Waddell and Reed. Laura Nelson, Josh Funk, and Steve Stanger are the financial advisors.
Laura Nelson, the saint. She had to deal with you.
I know. I don't think I was that bad.
You were that bad.
Okay?
You were that bad.
736-6563 is the number.
I want to meet this Laura one day.
You might have
Three
that opportunity.
of us should have lunch.
Yeah, there you go.
Talk about it, commiserate.
I actually owe her lunch for everything she helped me with on my investments.
I probably owe her lunch for helping you so my life is better and don't have to hear about it. But anyway, I want to tell you about the UPS store. If you need a mailbox for rent, they have them. They are affordable. They are secure. You can get to them 24 hours a day. If you have a home business without a retail location, say you're moving, say you're worried about the security of your mail because of identity theft, go to the UPS store, rent a mailbox, but this is key. You have to tell them Jill or Kelly sent you to receive the 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. And that depends on the length of the lease you decide to sign. But you have to tell them Joe or Kelly sent you. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table. 1, 2, or 3 additional months free. So, and while you're there, you can print, you can make copies, you can ship, you can package, you can buy a cute little animal card. And there's no drop-off fees for prepaid packages or mail. And you can also easily design or upload your projects from any place, anytime, and they will print them for you. So go to the corner of Blue Lakes and Addison. Tell Charles and the crew, Jill and Kelly sent you.
All right, very good. Now, 2 things. First of all, next Tuesday we will be pulling out of the hat.
Yes.
And getting another winner for the lunch with Kelly and Jill at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center.
That's right.
And a ride in the limo to and from here.
Mm-hmm.
So be listening for that. If you haven't entered yet, go to our website at newsradio1310.com and click on Win Lunch with Kelly and Jill.
That's how easy it is.
Yeah, put in your info, and you might be the next winner.
That's right. Why not? We've had a great time. Why not have a free lunch?
It's really good stuff. Good food.
You can actually earn extra points by playing the games on our website. There's slots. There's
the
all
more
sorts
games
of
you
things.
play, the more points you rack up, the more times you can enter.
The more entries you can have. So
also coming up this Saturday and Sunday at the KOA campground in Jerome,
yes,
the Magic Valley Amateur Radio Club.
Who?
Yes.
What?
Our ham radio club is going to be having field day from noon Saturday till noon Sunday. We set up our radios. We talk to people in the U.S. and Canada. We see how many contacts we make. It is actually an emergency communications drill, and we've turned it into a fun activity. We want everybody to stop by and say hi and see how ham radio operators work. And
maybe they'll join your little club, and you'll have a bigger hammer club.
Absolutely. So it's going to be fun. Starts at noon Saturday. Stop by and say hi. Be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe I will.
You should.
In my hunt for my keys.
Yeah, maybe you'll help Jill find her keys.
Please help me find my clump of keys.
Hey, tomorrow we got the state of the city and a whole lot more. We'll see you then. Goodbye, Jill.
Bye, Cal.